Another day, another story. The theory of evolution is a scientific explanation for how different species of living things have developed and changed over time. It is based on the idea that all living things share a common ancestor and that species change over time through a process called natural selection. Natural selection is a mechanism of evolution that occurs when certain individuals in a population have traits that give them an advantage over others in terms of survival and reproduction. These advantageous traits are more likely to be passed on to offspring, leading to a gradual change in the genetic makeup of a population over time. The theory of evolution has its roots in the work of Charles Darwin, who first proposed the idea in his book, On the Origin of Species, in 1859. Darwin's theory was based on his observations of the natural world, particularly on the diversity of living organisms and their adaptations to different environments. According to Darwin, the process of evolution occurs through a combination of variation, inheritance, and selection. Variation refers to the differences that exist within a population of organisms, whether due to genetic factors or environmental influences. Inheritance refers to the transmission of these traits from one generation to the next, while selection refers to the process by which certain traits become more or less common in a population over time. One of the key ideas of the theory of evolution is that all living things share a common ancestor. This means that all the different species of plants, animals, and other organisms that exist today are descended from a single common ancestor that lived billions of years ago. Over time, these ancestral organisms evolved into different species as they adapted to different environments and developed new traits. For example, the ancestor of modern birds was likely a small, feathered dinosaur that lived around 150 million years ago. Over time, these dinosaurs evolved wings and other adaptations that allowed them to fly, eventually giving rise to the wide variety of bird species that exist today. Another important aspect of the theory of evolution is the idea that evolution occurs slowly over long periods of time. While individual organisms may experience rapid changes in response to environmental pressures, these changes are usually not significant enough to create new species on their own. Instead, evolution occurs over many generations, with small changes accumulating over time to produce larger-scale changes in the genetic makeup of a population. The theory of evolution has been supported by a vast array of evidence from different fields of science, including genetics, paleontology, and comparative anatomy. For example, the discovery of DNA and the mapping of the human genome have provided powerful evidence for the relatedness of all living things, while the fossil record has provided a window into the history of life on Earth and the evolution of different species over time. Despite the overwhelming evidence in support of the theory of evolution, it remains controversial in some circles, particularly among those who hold religious beliefs that conflict with evolutionary theory. However, the theory of evolution is widely accepted among scientists and is considered one of the most important and influential ideas in the history of science.